Somalia is unraveling, faster than the world can react. As the government fractures, militants surge, and global powers clash, one question looms. Will Mogadishu be the next Kabul, or something worse? Welcome back to Semonenya Spotlight, your front row seat to the Horn of Africa's most explosive stories. Today we dive into a nation on the edge, Somalia, where a brutal storm of clan rivalry, terrorist resurgence, and foreign meddling threatens to collapse what little peace remains. In Mogadishu, fear grows by the hour. Al-Shabaab closes in, regional states rebel. Foreign allies pull back or play dangerous games. And while the capital rises with signs of hope, its foundations are cracking fast. This isn't just another African crisis. This is the story of a fragile state gasping for survival. A high-stakes showdown where every faction, every bullet, and every broken alliance could decide the fate of a nation and the future of the Horn. A fractured federation, Jubaland and Puntland pushback. The federal government of Somalia, FGS, led by President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, is under siege, not just from insurgents but from its own federal member states. Reports of a 5-day clash between Jubaland and the FGS reveal deep fissures in Somalia's federal structure. Jubaland, a semi-autonomous state controlling the strategic port of Kismayo, has long resisted Mogadishu's centralizing ambitions. This conflict, rooted in disputes over power and resources, threatens to destabilize southern Somalia, where Al-Shabaab exploits such divisions to expand its influence. Meanwhile, Puntland's seizure of Turkish-supplied weapons destined for Mogadishu last week underscores the growing defiance of regional authorities. By refusing to return the arms, Puntland signals its distrust of the FGS and its reliance on foreign backers like Turkey. This act of rebellion highlights a critical challenge. Somalia's security forces, fragmented across federal and clan lines, lack cohesion. Without unified command, the FGS struggles to counter Al-Shabaab or maintain control over its territory, leaving Mogadishu vulnerable to both internal and external threats. Al-Shabaab's deadly resurgence. The specter of Al-Shabaab looms larger than ever. In a chilling development, the Al-Qaeda-affiliated group has recaptured a city vacated by Ethiopian forces a decade ago and is advancing in Hiran in central Somalia, now just 40 kilometers from Mogadishu. Since launching its Shabelle offensive in February 2025, Al-Shabaab has reclaimed key towns like Abure and Adan Yabal, establishing support zones that link its southern and central strongholds. Its sophisticated tactics, night raids, infiltrations, and increased use of improvised explosive devices, IEDs, have overwhelmed the Somali National Army, SNA. Recent attacks paint a grim picture. In February 2024, Al-Shabaab stormed an Emirati-run base in Mogadishu, killing 18 soldiers. In March 2025, a hotel attack in Beledweyne and an attempted assassination of President Mohamud underscored the group's audacity. With an estimated 12,000 fighters, Al-Shabaab exploits the FGS's overstretched forces and the planned withdrawal of African Union AU troops by December 2024. Its financial networks, bolstered by extortion and ties to Yemen's Houthis, who supply arms in exchange for piracy support, make it a formidable foe. The group's proximity to Mogadishu raises fears of a direct assault on the capital, a scenario that could topple the FGS and plunge Somalia into anarchy. A shifting geopolitical chessboard. Somalia's fate is further complicated by the shifting allegiances of foreign powers. The United States, once a stalwart supporter of the FGS, through airstrikes and training for the elite Danab Brigade, is reportedly considering negotiations with Al-Shabaab and dismantling AFRICOM, its military command in Africa. This potential pivot, driven by the failure of military solutions to defeat Al-Shabaab, could leave Somalia without critical support, especially as AU forces exit. The withdrawal of U.S. logistical aid would cripple the SNA, increasing the risk of Mogadishu's fall. Turkey has stepped into this vacuum, expanding its military presence and influence. Following the March 2025 assassination attempt on Mohammed, Turkey pledged enhanced support, including training and equipment. However, its controversial oil exploration deal with the FGS, opposed by Somalia's parliament, has sparked accusations of resource exploitation, further eroding trust between Mogadishu and regional states. Turkey's growing role, while a lifeline, risks entangling Somalia in broader geopolitical rivalries, particularly with Egypt and Ethiopia. Egypt's defense pact with Somalia, signed amid tensions with Ethiopia over the Nile River, has yielded limited results. Despite two arms shipments, Cairo has not deployed troops or fully committed to Somalia's defense, leaving Mogadishu exposed. Ethiopia, a longtime ally in the fight against Al-Shabaab, has strained relations with the FGS over its Memorandum of Understanding with Somaliland, a self-declared independent region. Somalia's refusal to grant Ethiopia port access, despite Turkish-mediated talks in Ankara, risks losing Addis Ababa's military support at a critical juncture. The ongoing conflict in Somaliland's Sul region, where SSC Katumo militia battles Somaliland forces, adds another layer of instability, displacing tens of thousands and threatening northern Somalia's fragile peace. Electoral tensions and governance challenges. Amid this turmoil, the FGS is pushing for a historic shift to a one-person, one-vote electoral system, abandoning the clan-based model that has defined Somali politics. This reform, intended to bolster democratic legitimacy, faces fierce opposition from Puntland and Jubaland, which fear losing influence. The 2022 election, marred by violence and delays, serves as a stark reminder of the risks. With constitutional amendments stalled and federal states resisting central authority, the upcoming elections could ignite further conflict, weakening the FGS at a time when unity is paramount. The humanitarian crisis compounds these challenges. Over 6.9 million Somalis need aid, 4 million face acute food insecurity, and 1.5 million are internally displaced. Al-Shabaab's blockades in controlled areas hinder humanitarian access, while climate shocks, droughts followed by floods, devastate livelihoods. The UN warns that 1.6 million children face acute malnutrition, a crisis exacerbated by Somalia's reliance on food imports disrupted by global conflicts like Ukraine's. Mogadishu's fragile hold. Mogadishu, once a beacon of cautious progress, is now a city under siege. New apartments rise and young couples fill its parks, but the shadow of Al-Shabaab looms. The capital's security depends on the SNA and the new AU support and stabilization mission in Somalia, ALSOM, launched in January 2025. But funding shortages and operational challenges threaten its effectiveness. If Al-Shabaab breaches Mogadishu's defenses, the FGS could collapse, echoing the chaos of 1991 when Siad Barre's regime fell. Yet Somalia is not without hope. The FGS's 2022-2023 offensive, supported by clan militias, recaptured over 200 settlements, proving that progress is possible. Turkey's support and Egypt's tentative aid offer lifelines, though fraught with complications. Dialogue with Al-Shabaab, as some analysts suggest, could reduce violence, but the group's rigid ideology and demand for foreign troop withdrawal pose significant barriers. A nation's cry for survival. Somalia's story is one of heartbreak and resilience. Its people, battered by war, hunger, and displacement, yearn for peace. The FGS's survival hinges on unifying its fractured regions, securing reliable international support, and countering Al-Shabaab's advance. Failure risks Mogadishu's fall and a return to the dark days of state collapse. But with strategic reforms, inclusive governance, and regional cooperation, Somalia could defy the odds. For now, it stands as a horned nation on the brink, its fate a testament to the enduring human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. And that's a wrap, fan. Semonenya Spotlight signing off, but we'll be back with more stories that shake the Horn of Africa to its core. Stay tuned, stay curious, and keep it locked right here.